Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. How we doing today, guys?
Doing great. Clipper, you thought...
I made the mistake last night of betting on your sorry Los Angeles Lakers. You gave me Lakers +3.
Yep, sure did.
And I guess it was karmic justice that it came down to a 3-point attempt by Russell Westbrook. If I could relive the agony right now, thank you very much. Let's just see how this... What? Oh, you bricked it, West. It's a West brick.
Well, they bricked a lot of them in the fourth quarter. And as a matter of fact, there were a lot of bricks, not just threes.
He saved me in the third, then he bricked me in the fourth.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I deserved it.
We had to see that. We just had to see it. Okay, so let's talk about what happened in that game, which I know you guys have plenty to say about it after falling behind by as much as 25 points. The LeBron-less Lakers, they nearly crawled all the way back against the Knicks last night, but came up short down the stretch in a 106-100 loss. Russell Westbrook, the guy we're talking about, finished with a triple-double on the night with 18 of his 31 points coming in the third quarter to tie the game. And afterward, he addressed LA's slow start, saying, quote, "We weren't playing hard enough. Simple. When we decided to play harder, it made a significant difference." So, Shannon, were you encouraged or discouraged by Westbrook's performance last night?
Well, I'm encouraged, Skip. I thought he played really well yesterday. He was very, very efficient, which he normally isn't. He shot the ball from the three, which he does normally. Shot the ball from the three really well, which he normally doesn't. He shot the ball from the free throw line, Skip. If you look at his numbers, I mean, he was 3 of 6 from the three. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line, 10 of 18 from the floor. But he had 6 turnovers. Skip, that's a part of the package. You know, if you have a kid's birthday party, the kids are going to enjoy themselves. But you understand you're going to have cleanup afterwards. Well, this is what you're going to get with Russ, Skip. He's going to give you numbers. He's going to give you a very impressive, 80% of the time, Russ will give you a very impressive stat line. But you also know what comes along with that stat line, Skip. There's something in that final column. Turnovers. So that's just a part of it. But I thought he played really well. I thought it was his intensity. I thought it was his hustle, his desire that spearheaded that come. First of all, they should, as he said, they didn't play hard enough. They started the game, they're down 10-0. And if I'm not mistaken, Skip, the lead balloons to 24 points. Why in the hell are you down to the Knicks?
25.
25, okay. Why are you down by that many points to the Knicks? That's a question for another day. I'm sure we'll talk about that because it's probably going to be a reoccurring theme at some point in time because it seems to be the question. That seems to be a problem because guess what? They were down 15 to the Detroit Pistons, who the Warriors sent their backups out there and beat the brakes off of. Somehow the Lakers starters found themselves down to the Pistons, who've only won a handful of games. So I'm sure we're going to discuss that as the season prevails. But Skip, for me, I thought Russ played really, really well. I thought they played well as a team in the third quarter to get themselves back into the ball game. And then come fourth quarter, they were unable to buy a shot. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were 5 of 19 from the floor, maybe 1 of 7, 1 of 8, 1 of 9 from the three-point line. And they had some great looks. Carmelo had some great looks. Malik Monk had some great looks, but they just could not get anything to drop. And so the Knicks only scored 23 in the fourth quarter, Skip. The Lakers scored 19. But I thought they had great looks. But I thought I was really encouraged by what I saw with Russ, considering he followed up Sunday's game. He followed that up last night with another very impressive game, playing hard. But like Russ says, everybody needs to have the mentality that they're going to play better. They're going to get off to these better starts because for the second time in about 5 weeks, Skip, they played really well in the third because you know normally third quarter is their bugaboo, is that when the game normally gets out of hand, they get outscored by 12, they get outscored by 20. Last night, they outscored the Knicks by 10, got themselves back into the ball game, but the fourth quarter, they couldn't buy a shot, and they ended up losing by 6, and I got me a case of dew. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And by the way, quick point of order. All the kids' birthday parties I attended when I was a little kid, nobody needed to clean up. We were all just lower middle class, good kids. We didn't make any messes. Come on, we did not. We weren't a bunch of spoiled brats. You must have had a bunch of spoiled brats.
Somebody had to pick that paper plates up and the pinata and all that other stuff. Somebody had to pick up that stuff, Skip.
I'm going to start from the start.
Okay.
I had to listen to about 24 hours of your desperate Lakers saying, this is the turning point of our season. And I kept saying, wait a second. The LeBron versus Isaiah Stewart incident is the turning point. The momentum has shifted because LeBron cheap-shotted a 20-year-old. A dirty play by the face of your franchise and the face of the league is suddenly the turning point of your... I'm like, it isn't. Stop it.
No.
And after they all let the video actually sink in, I think right after the game, the Lakers had no real idea of what had transpired until they saw the second and third and fourth looks at the video.
Well,
and they said, wait a second. He just cheap shot him. And I think it sank in, and I think they sank last night, and they come out in the Garden. And the reason I took the bet was I knew Derrick Rose was not going to play
you didn't
for
tell
the
me
home
that, though.
team. Well, I just thought, because he is their literal driving force. There are nights when he looks like all caps Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
right?
he looks like they're nice. He looks like their best player.
I agree. I think he is their best player. I know Julius Randle can make a case statistically, but here came the Knicks right out of the gates, and there went your Lakers. And I'm thinking, where is the energy? Where is the intensity? Where is the turning point, turnaround desire on the part of your Lakers with no LeBron, just knowing that he will be back tonight as they play at Indiana? We'll discuss that game in a few minutes. But I saw lifeless. I saw dead in the water.
Yeah.
I saw you're down 25 points to the Knicks, who are they're 9-8 going into last night, so they're not a world beater.
No,
they're not exactly what people thought they were going to be after the first 4 games of the season, right? And Russell Westbrook, you called his game efficient. That's what you just said, efficient. Well, the first half was anything but, because he had 5 turnovers in the first half alone, which helped contribute to minus 25 points.
Yes.
And he shot 1 of 5 in the first half, which was pretty typical West Brick.
Right.
And then I see after the game, he's blasting his team. We just didn't play hard enough in the first half.
Right.
Well, how about you? Were you playing so hard you played completely out of control and you had 5 more turnovers? And by the way, just a quick point of order, that brings his total with 1 more in the second half to 6 for the night. That brings his total for the year to 94, which leads James Harden by 4, and he is in first place in turnovers. He is running away with the turnover race again.
Well, he and James Harden going to be neck and neck the whole year,
Neck and neck. Okay, but he is number 1 in turnovers just for the record.
Yeah.
But statistically, he must be sleeping good every night, because he's looking at his numbers, because he is a stat machine, solo act extraordinaire. He's looking at these numbers saying, look what I'm doing. I'm back home. I'm the starting point guard of my Los Angeles Lakers that I grew up living and dying for. And look at his overall numbers. 20 a game, which is down some from what he usually scores, but he doesn't care about that. 20's fine. He's up to 9 rebounds and 9 assists. He's just about doing it again. He's about to average triple-double for the 5th time in 6 years.
Right.
And if he could do it in the purple and gold, would that not be?
We're playing alongside LeBron and AD when he doesn't get the normal. Skip, he shot 18 times last night. And that you can contribute a lot of that, Skip, to LeBron not being there. But Malik Monk only had 4 fewer shots than Russ.
Okay. All right.
But he does. But Skip, you got to give him credit, Skip. A lot of that, sometimes when you play hard, you're going to dribble the ball off your foot. You're going to make. There's some like Russ. You tried that. You tried that pass, and you look at me like Russ.
There were a couple in the first half where I just said I have no idea.
I said the exact same thing.
I had to sit in your seat and wear your sneakers last night, because I'm thinking, no, Russ, because I'm looking at. Usually I laugh at it. This time I'm just cringing. I'm dying.
You had something to
I had steak in it, and it helped me. It actually gave me good perspective, because he was driving me out of my mind last night in the first half. And then lo and behold, I hold the box score right here in my hands, the third quarter box. Here he comes. And we all know what he's capable of doing. He's got nuclear firepower in that 6'3" frame of his. And he's not over the hill at 33 years of age. And he goes 7 of 10 in the third quarter, hits 2 of 3 threes, which is like shocking sight to me. It's like it blindsides my senses. I can't even sort of comprehend. Wait, he just made 2 of 3 threes. He made both his free throws. To your point, he made 8 of 9 free throws for the night, which was tremendous for him. And he winds up with 18 points in the third quarter alone with only 1 turnover. Sensational.
Yes.
That is the best of Russell Westbrook. And I'm going to underscore for the third quarter, he was a brook in the third quarter.
Yes.
Not a brick, but a brook.
Yeah, he was flowing.
He was flowing and going. And I think, wait a second, they have come all the way back to tie the game?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to come from 25 down at Madison Square Garden with that Knicks crazed crowd? Because it's still, it's a great crowd.
Well, Skip, it's normally hard for the Lakers. We see other teams do it seemingly on a nightly basis, come from a large deficit down, but not the Lakers. Normally, when they get down, they stay down. What we see from the Lakers is that they get big leads and give those leads up. That's what we've seen.
Okay, so I saw the score get tied at 81 all late in the third quarter. And the man who had received a standing ovation for his return to the Garden, Carmelo Anthony, had a shot with 29.6 seconds left in the third quarter, a three-point shot if we could see it. This is to go ahead by 3. This is it. This is a turning point in this basketball game.
I think he's trying to go a 2 for 1, too.
Yeah, here we go. And it's a pretty good look, and he just back irons it. If that goes in, that actually it detonates the crowd because they were ready to root for Carmelo if they couldn't root for their Knicks, right?
Yep.
And it would have been their plan B. That is the shot of the night, and it back irons, and the score stays where it is. And then Obi Toppin comes down and gets a dunk, and all of a sudden their Knicks are up 2. And then with 2.7 seconds left in the third quarter, my man Russ, who had been on fire, has a 3 to put them back up 1 going to the fourth. And I would have given the Lakers a real shot then if that had happened. And can we see what Russ did? This is to go up 1 point to go to the fourth, a pretty open look, and it's not even close. It's front iron, side iron, no good.
Right.
Russ, I'm thinking, when he shot it, I thought, well, he's hot. I thought.
Yeah.
And then that was that, which brings me to the fourth quarter.
Right.
I hold the box in my hand. Thank you very much.
They didn't do much.
The first thing that happened was Westbrook sat for about the first 3 minutes of the quarter.
Yes.
And it's just me. I know he plays his tail off and all that, but he is so on fire, and they have come so far down. I'm just going to let him ride. I'm going to go with him and hope that he can just get to the finish line. I'm not going to sit him because they lost all their momentum. They lost all their life, all their energy, all their intensity. It just drained with him sitting on the bench and obviously LeBron not playing. And what happened? He comes back in with no energy at all. He should have blamed himself in the fourth quarter. So he takes 10 shots in the third quarter, and look what he did in the fourth quarter.
He only
took 3 shots.
Made 2 or 3.
He made 2 of 3. I wanted him to fire away. I needed run and gun Russ. I needed him to just go ahead and say, it's my night. It's my time. I'm in the Mecca of basketball. I'm going to do what LeBron usually does when he visits Madison Square Garden. I'm going to be LeBron tonight. And he was a very quiet Westbrook.
Well, Skip, I think the thing was then that because he was giving Malik Monk, he gave Malik Monk some great opportunities. He was 0 of 3. Melo was 1 of 3. And last night,
you're talking about from 3
in the fourth quarter, Skip. So they had great looks, and I agree with you. Late in the third quarter, if they could have just got one of those balls to go in and take the lead, now I think the Knicks are really, really questioning themselves because even though they had given up that 25-point lead, Skip, they still were never in the deficit. They still never trailed. So they're like, well, all is not completely lost because we still have the lead. But I knew it was going to be bad last night, Skip, when I watched, I think it was like maybe late third or the fourth quarter, when Taylor Horton-Tucker had 2 layups. And he cuffed the ball, Euro step, and he left it right up under the, I was like, oh, that's it. It's just one, Skip, it's one of those, Skip. It's one of those.
Okay, speaking of Taylor Horton-Tucker. If you'd told me before we made our bet yesterday what he was about to do or not do, there's no way I would have taken this bet. Do you realize in the 3 games when he returned with no LeBron, look what he did. He went against my Spurs, he went 17-4. Then against the Bulls, I know they lost, but he went 28-6, and he was the highlight of the night. And then at Milwaukee, 25-12 from Taylor Horton-Tucker, who last night managed to go 0 points and 2 rebounds. Help me out. Where did that come from?
Out of nowhere.
What is that?
Because he's better than that. He's
0 points and 2 rebounds. I'm looking at this box and I'm saying, how can you be 0 for 6? How can you the stat line is so little. It looks like he didn't. It looks like he barely played. Was he in foul trouble? No, he wasn't in foul trouble. Did he play 29 minutes? It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of
yeah. Played 29, and he went 0 for 8 and 0 for 2 from 3 and scored 0. You didn't even get to the free throw line.
Well, this is what we need. We need Avery Bradley to give us a Skip. I'm not saying he's going to shoot the ball like this, but give us this kind of consistent play. But in the fourth quarter, we saw what happened, Skip, quickly. Skip, he hit some shots. I mean, the thing hit the front of the rim, hit the top of the backboard.
It was his night.
Skip, you know what it's like that, Skip. You just like, damn, man, how lucky can you be?
When the game ended, I thought, I lost a case of dew quickly, because it was Emmanuel quickly, because in the fourth quarter, he makes 4 of 5 three-point shots, 4 or 5, and one of them was like all-time lucky bounce 3. It was Kawhi-esque in Toronto against Philadelphia.
And then he hit one, Skip, on the wing. The guy set the screen, and then the Laker guy tried to brush him from the side, and he shot it.
Up and under, yep.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Got that one too. Okay, so it was his night.
It was his night.
And in the end, Russ let me down because let's be honest about this.
You wanted him to keep firing, huh?
Well, no. LeBron James, highest IQ in basketball, handpicked Russell Westbrook for these kind of games.
Yes,
because he said, I want marquee. I want box office. I want a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer to be my running mate. I don't want Dennis Schroeder. You can have him Boston.
Right.
We don't want him. We tried to sign him and we gave him an offer, but he refused, and that's fine. And LeBron was happy because I'm going to replace Schroeder, Dennis the Menace, with Russell Westbrook for these kind of nights. If I need to take a back-to-back off, or if I'm dinged or whatever happens, if I'm suspended, I need Russell Westbrook, right?
Skip, look, this is no disrespect to the Knicks, but Russ and AD should be enough to be...
They did say that AD, this is on the Lakers telecast last night, I was going back and forth between that and TNT. I know you don't listen to the sound, but they said that AD had
like flu-like symptoms?
Flu-like symptoms. I have no idea, and he mentioned after the game that he had an illness. Okay. Don't know what it was.
Could I ask you a
Obviously not COVID related.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
What did that illness have to do with 5'11" from the free throw line?
I don't know. 5'11" will not get it done.
And AD better than that. AD's like, now, his first year at LA, Skip, he shot like 85%, but he's normally like 78, 79, and I think he's shooting around 7. But AD's had some games, Skip, where he's missed 4 or 5 free throws, and I'm watching him last night. I'm like, AD, you better than that. With a touch that he has to be a big man.
Yep.
There's no way AD should miss 6 free throws in a ball game.
Okay, and it was destined to be Carmelo Anthony's night.
Yeah.
He returns to his old stomping grounds, and instead he gets stomped. And look at his box score, if you would, please. I mean, this is just horrendous. He goes 3 of 14 from the floor and only 2 of 8 from 3.
Yeah.
Well, this was a night that was begging for him to get hot down the stretch because we've seen him do it at Staples, haven't we?
Yeah.
Which is about to be not Staples anymore.
The crypto.com.
It's just going to be the Crypt. Is what it's gonna be.
That's what they're going to call it. But no, Skip, remember Sunday? Melo got hot.
He did.
Melo got him back in the ball game with letting the threes go.
Hot. And Russ got...
Yes.
Russ was efficient in the fourth quarter. They won at Detroit. It was albeit against Detroit, which is now 4-13. But they won 37-17 in the fourth quarter. It was just a tour de force by your Lakers. It's what they should be without LeBron.
AD dominating on both ends. Melo making shots. Russ diving, cutting to the basket, getting some easy buckets. But, Skip, you can't start the game off. I already knew, Skip, I said, got me an easy case. When they started the game off and they down, and Frankie B hit that timeout, they were down 10-0. I like...
You got you an easy case, and then what did you think when it was 81 all?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, ain't no way this happened. I said, because I haven't seen them play like this. And they got back in the ball game, and I'm thinking like, okay, if they can take the lead, they might have a chance. But they never gave up. Because, Skip, that's what normally happens. We saw it with when the Lakers played the Thunder. Is that, they had this big lead, and the Lakers just, it was 9, then they go back, they cut it to 9, and they go back to 18. They cut it to 6, and they go back to 11. And it's like, okay, as long as they don't get the lead, it was once they got the lead, it's just something about when you have a big lead, and a team comes back, and they finally take the lead, it's just like, Skip, it's just like something that zaps it all out of you.
Okay, so what have we seen so far from Russell Westbrook? He's played all 19 games because one thing he's got going for him is durability. I know he's had some knee issues in the past, but he will play. He doesn't have knick-knack injuries.
Right.
He doesn't have a little pull here, a little pull there, or my shoulder hurts, or my knee's a little sore. He doesn't have that. He just plays basketball, and he plays it all out as hard as he can play every single, especially offensive possession.
Yes.
So he's played all 19 games, and they are now 9-10 for the season.
Right.
But without LeBron, Russ is 4-7. That's just wrong because this guy named Anthony Davis is still there, and he is supposed to be not just a star, he's supposed to be LeBron's co-star, and a lot of people make the case he's more valuable than LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he is a top 10, in some people's books, a top 5 player. Where has he been when they're 4-7 without LeBron James?
These are the type of games that, Skip, you ask AD to dominate. We need you to take them. We need 35, 15, and 5.
Where were you? I got flu-like symptoms. Jordan's had flu-like symptoms. Everybody does. I just don't want to hear about it.
The type of performance that he gave you in Detroit, Skip, remember he had those 5 blocks and those 5 assists and 30 points and 15 rebounds? Those are the type of, and guess how he got it? When LeBron James went out. This is why they said, okay, we want Russ to pair with AD, so if LeBron takes a night off, if something happens, he gets Knicks for an extended period of time, Russ and AD should be more than enough to beat the lion's share of the teams. Not great. You know, I don't think you should be able to be we should think you can beat the Nets or the Warriors or something like that at full strength. But you should, the Suns, but you should be a lot of these teams that you're losing to when LeBron isn't there with just Russ and AD. That should be enough.
I agree. So I'm assuming LeBron will be back for
we're back tonight. And
back
we're gonna
tonight.
win.
And will you be back with a vengeance? Because Shannon Sharpe has told me that it was a wrongful suspension.
Wrongful.
Should not have been suspended. Does LeBron believe that in his heart of hearts? Has he been convinced by his inner circle that he should come back with a mat on? Like, I got to take it out on the league here?
We're going to get the dub, but we're going to go and put something like, we'll put something on you like 20, we'll do 27, 8-3.
And turn it completely around, and it'll be an easy victory at Indiana tonight.
I don't say it'll be easy, but we'll probably win by 6-8.
6-8, says Shannon Sharpe, setting up yet another bet, which we will conclude later in the show.
You try to get your case back, huh?
Yep, and I will tonight.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Thank you.
Confidence, such confidence.
No mercy.
Well, here's a heads up. Undisputed will be on live at our usual time this Thanksgiving Day, so please do join us. We'll be giving predictions for Dak and Zeke as the Cowboys look to eat in their annual game, plus previews of all Thanksgiving action, including Bears-Lions on Fox. That's at our usual time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow right here on FS1. Will they be eating, though? That is the question. Dak and the Cowboys look to have a short-term memory this week when Raiders roll into town for that game. Las Vegas is coming off 3 straight tough losses, but it appears that neither Amari Cooper nor CeeDee Lamb will be available for the Thanksgiving showdown. Ezekiel Elliott told the media the game plan he thinks will help his team bounce back, saying, quote, I think running the football has to be important to us. I think it helps this offense. We're a better football team when we can run it well. I think it will be a point for us Thursday to get that run game going. So, Shannon, is this Zeke's team or Dak's team at this point?
Skip, it's the guy's team that they're paying $75 million to.
Well, is it?
Yeah, you know it's Skip.
Are you saying it's unfortunately his team?
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, look, when you play your quarterback $75 million and you've invested the draft capital, you take a wide receiver when I thought the year before you needed a defensive player because your defense was so poor. You have Amari Cooper. Now, his unvaccinated status, I was listening to Jerry Jones, and he was very upset the other day. I'm talking about highly upset.
Well, I was very upset on Monday, and I think you were equally upset, and you don't even like the Cowboys.
I do not. Skip, and I don't know. I'm trying to determine. I say, was he more upset about the potential of his players kneeling, or is he more upset about Amari being unvaccinated? And I think he might be more upset about Amari being vaccinated because I'm not so sure he thought he had a team that could win the Super Bowl that year. This year, he believes he has a team that can get to, and he's talked about his mortality. What I would give, Skip, just to hold that trophy
I would write any check, any size check.
One more time.
Okay.
So for me, Skip, look, we understand, and this is why it's not Zeke's team. because Zeke is no longer your bell cow back. Zeke is not Jonathan Taylor. Zeke is not Derrick Henry prior to the injury. What Zeke is he's a great complementary. It's a 1-2 punch. It's a combo. Jonathan Taylor is the bell cow back. He's getting the lion's share of the carries.
Whose team is that? No, seriously.
It's Jonathan Taylor's team.
Okay,
you know who it is. It's Derrick Henry. Yeah. Whose team is that?
It's Derrick Henry's team. And all of a sudden, unfortunately, it's Ryan Tannehill's team. And unfortunately, he throws 4 picks.
In the fourth quarter. Yep. So, Skip, for me, and I think that's what it is. They're asking Dak to do too much. They got away from the running game when I didn't really think they needed to, because you're only down 2 scores. When you're down 2 scores.
You're talking about at Kansas City.
At Kansas City, Skip.
By the way, they end up throwing 43 passes to 16 rushes.
Almost very similar to what they did opening day.
Yep.
So for me, Skip, I just think the thing is they need to have a little bit more balance, a little bit more consistency. Now, I don't believe Dak checked out of those runs because, Skip, you don't
be
so loud. You go with what you call. Yeah. So I believe Kellen Moore dialed up more passes than runs.
Yep.
So that's on him. He has to do a better job of understanding. It's loud. My tackles. That's not Ty Smith out there that I know can go one-on-one. So for me, Skip, I think the onus is going to be more on Kellen Moore to do a better job. Now, I'm not Skip at home. It's easy, because the crowd is in your favor, so you can hear everything. So you can audible and check and do all those things. But when you go on the road, you're going to need to call more runs to take some pressure off your offensive line and not ask them to drop kick back and try to protect you 43 times a game. But, Skip, unfortunately, this is Dak's team. They've invested a lot of money in him. They've invested a lot in that wide receiver, those 3 wide receivers. So for right now, and because Zeke isn't a bell cow back that you give it to him 25, 30 times a game, unfortunately, Skip, this is Dak's team.
Okay, this question for me as a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan is gut-wrenching. It is tormenting. I'm actually losing sleep over this. I can't sleep because I can't figure it out. I want him to be the $75 million man, but he's not living up. He's not earning his keep on a regular basis. Because when I look at the totality of Dak's season so far, I love the way he played against Brady, and I love the way he played against Belichick, because they almost won at Brady, and it was in large part because of Dak.
Right.
And they did win at Belichick because Dak threw a touchdown pass to CD in overtime.
And that looks really impressive right now, considering the way the Patriots are playing.
You can argue, at that point it didn't seem like it, because that was actually the 4th New England loss at home. They fell to 0-4 at home in that game, so it's hard to justify that as a signature hallmark victory.
Oh, that was your hallmark win.
But now that you look back, you say that is the hallmark.
It is.
And ironically, he pulls his calf at the end of that one, and he's gone for a while. The point is, when I look at the totality of $75 million, are we getting bang for buck here? His QBR for the whole year is only 51. Remember, it scales 0 to 100. So he's barely above average. That ranks 18th in the NFL, a notch below Jalen Hurts, and just barely a notch above Mac Jones.
Wow.
Okay, so he's below average so far in QBR. And I look at his best games, and his best QBRs came at home against Carolina and Atlanta. Okay, well, those aren't hallmarks, right? And he stunk 2 of the last 3 games, starting with the game at home against Denver, which is just unconscionable. I can't factor it in.
That's the game you can't get out of your head.
I can't, because it's a season killer, as it turned out. And they did bounce back and have a big bounce back, we're back kind of win against Atlanta. And then they go up there, and I still can't compute what happened. I can't get it to go into my psyche, because, to your point, silly me, I told you Friday, we'll run it down their throats, because they are vulnerable against the run, right?
Yes.
And instead, we try Zeke early, and he goes -1 on his first carry. Then he goes 2, and then he did get 5, but then he only got 2, and then it just fades to oblivion after that, because from that moment on, it's like Kellen Moore says, I've seen enough. It looks like he's hit the late season wall, and I don't trust him. Pollard got loose on a trick play. That was the only gain of the whole day, was the trick play, fake reverse, right, with a big wild fake to toss to Dak, and he gets loose for 31 yards. That's all I got for the whole day. And yet, to your point, defense is hanging in. And all of a sudden, it's only 19-9 at the finish, and Dak's got chances. He's got all kinds of chances. I didn't even want to beat him over the head again today like we keep doing, but he missed Gallup on the first play of the game. Right. And then he's got Cedric Wilson in the fourth quarter. He's got him deep, and he just underthrew him. And then, obviously, at the end of the half to CD, and it's an injury to insult because he underthrows the pass, and CD gets whiplashed, and he's gone.
Well, Skip, if you go to Kansas City and you hold that team to 19 points, you got to win that game.
Got to win that game.
You got to win that one.
If you told me that Friday, we're going to hold them to 19, yes.
You and I both thought the game was going to be in the 30. You said 30-29. I said like 34-31 because I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game. I wasn't in love with either team's defense, especially Kansas City's. But Kansas City made a conscious effort. They say, we want the ball in Dak Prescott's hands.
They did.
We're not going to allow you to run the football because, like you said, we know you are a better team when you can run it and then play action pass off of that. We're going to take you out of that and then force Dak to throw the football. Well, there's like, and then Dak, Skip, there's no excuse. I get Amari Cooper wasn't there. But you've seen guys be without Kyler Murray winning game without D-Hop.
It's who you are. If you're that guy, you got to. You got to win. Aaron Rodgers goes to Arizona and just pulls it off.
With three.
And I give you that because you're that guy.
Yes.
If you're that guy, you just go figure it out. You go do that. And then I sit back and say, I give it up.
And prior to the Broncos game, Skip, we had started hearing rumbling Dak in the MVP discussion.
Sure. Yeah, and he belonged in it.
He did.
Yeah.
But, Skip, and the part of being in that discussion is that when things are less than ideal, you still find ways to win games. Skip, look, I get it. That's the one up. We're going to chalk this one up. We're going to say, okay, everybody's had one of those games. We saw Buffalo lose to the Jags. We've seen teams lose like they got no business losing to. Yeah. But you cannot go out and have a performance like that in Kansas City because Kansas City was not offensively wasn't on their best behavior. That's a game you should win. You got to take advantage of that when he's playing that not playing as well as we've seen Mahomes play.
Which is why at the end of that game, thanks to Mike McCarthy, I needed monkey butt powder because it just chapped my you-know-what, right? I needed monkey butt powder. The point is, now for the most sobering stats of the season so far. Dak Prescott, when they don't run for 100 yards, is 0-3 so far. They did actually win a game in which they didn't run for 100 yards. And guess who it was? It was Cooper Rush at Minnesota.
Right.
Well, that's scary to me. It wasn't even Dak.
Right.
Okay? What's my least or most favorite stat about my Dallas Cowboys? In the Dak Prescott era, they are 29-0. 29-0 when they run it more than they throw it. Think about that. 29-0. It screams at Kellen Moore. If you run it more than you throw it, you win 29-0 times.
Right.
Well, shouldn't you? Okay, so now what are we about to see tomorrow? There's no Amari, thanks to no vaccination. Thank you very much, Amari. That's just a selfish act. I don't know what his personal reasons are, and I don't care because this is a team issue, and you cost us.
That's what Jared said. Jared said you come in the locker room, it's a we.
It's a we.
It's not a me.
Okay, and I think you buy that also.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. There is no way CeeDee Lamb is going to clear protocol. They keep suggesting, he's ahead of schedule. McCarthy said yesterday, he's progressing. What independent medical man is going to say, I'll bless him for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I mean, unless Jerry slips him a couple of bucks or something, and it's not going to happen.
I don't want that on my resume.
No.
I don't want that on my resume.
Because it's too dangerous.
It is.
They're so anti CTE concussions.
There's a reason why they took it out of the team's hand. Okay. Because the team doctor was like, oh, yeah, he good to go. Send him back. No.
You know, maybe if they're playing Sunday instead of Thursday,
yes,
maybe.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Okay, but not Thursday. So now you're going to be down your two best receivers. It screams for, we just got to start running it and keep running it and damn the torpedoes.
Right.
If there's a 3-and-out on the first series and we went run, you just got to keep on just banging away with Zeke. Now he's had an ankle and now he bruised his knee the other day, which he says he's going to be okay. Right. But if you got to 1-2 punch him, try to get a little thunder and a little bit of lightning with Pollard and Zeke, then it's the only way to fly. Because if we end up by tomorrow evening with more rushes than pass attempts, all we need to do is survive this game. I'm going to say it to you one more time, and you can laugh at me all you want. This is do or die tomorrow. If I'm going to have the kind of season I believe I can have, you cannot lose this Thanksgiving Day game to the Las Vegas Raiders. You just can't do it.
Let me ask you a question. Is Ty Smith playing?
Yes, I think he is. And they're all very positive about that, and it feels right to me. So I'm going to buy that he's going to be in there.
Well,
okay?
you probably should be able to run the football then.
Okay, well, if you're right about that, because my right guard he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And he wasn't at Kansas City because he was getting beat by Chris Jones.
But that ain't no shame in that, though,
okay,
kids.
but I think Chris Jones beat I think they just kept moving him from slot to slot.
That's what you do.
He'll beat that guy, and that guy, including Zach Martin at right guard.
Right.
But the right guard can bulldoze you, and so can the left tackle when he's healthy.
Right.
So I just say it's got to be Zeke's team Thursday.
Well, the thing is, Skip, your weak link has always been your center and your left guard. They replaced Connor Williams and put McGovern in.
They did.
And
I was good with that. I liked it.
But that's not Zach Martin.
No.
That's not Ty Smith.
No.
That's not Lyle Collins. Even Steele was playing really good at right tackle. Unfortunately, Ty Smith got hurt and they bumped him to left tackle. You're asking a lot. There are not very many guys that's ever been able to move from right tackle. You're talking about you're talking about Larry Allen. Larry Allen I think, is the best offensive lineman to ever play. Okay. Because he's been an all-pro at all this. He can play it all. Yep. Left guard, right tackle.
I'm not arguing. I agree.
So they got Steele really playing out of position, but I thought he did okay, Skip. He was late on the snap count. Frank Clark got through their script sack on Dak and things of that.
Well,
but
they didn't even block him. I don't know what it was. I still can't figure it out.
I don't think he heard the snap count, Skip. But that's the one thing you don't want to have happen if you're an offensive lineman.
Lyle Collins, who's played at a Pro Bowl level before, he's coming off a very serious hip injury.
Yes.
He just doesn't look right to me, and I don't think he feels right.
Is he a better player? But he's not playing better now than what Steele was playing before he got back.
I totally agree, which is scary because that's another guy that's like Russell Westbrook where you can't bench him, right?
Because he's too good. You paid him so much money.
You're paying him too much money. So tomorrow, it's got to be run, Kellen, run. Run, Zeke, run. Eat, Zeke, eat.
Pollard.
Right?
Skip, you got a two-headed monster. You know what I mean? Let Zeke get his, 15, 18 carries. Let Tony Pollard get his 10 to 14 carries, and you're somewhere around 30 plus carries, 30 carries. You get somewhere between 28 and 35 carries, along with 25 to 30 passes. Yep. Skip, you good. Yep. It's when this gets so disproportionate where you're 2.5 time passes to run will get you in trouble.
I know. By the way, I'm not liking all these orange leaves behind you because it makes me think of Denver. I just
that's nice.
You can't see it, but it's just orange everywhere.
Nice autumn.
My whole view is filled with Denver orange.
I see it. Yeah, nice little autumn flavor.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. They did a good job. I like my backdrop.
My ultimate nightmare, the Denver Broncos.
Oh, what happened? Y'all just haven't beat us since '95.
I don't know. We were down 30-0 in the fourth quarter at home. Mm-hmm. You're kidding.
Yep.
What is that about? I didn't even notice the leaves. This is festive. It's Thanksgiving.
Well, I got to look at them. I'm the only one who has to stare at them. Orange. I hate orange. I hate Texas. I hate Oklahoma State. I hate Denver. Sorry.
Oklahoma State got something for y'all.
We'll see about that.
A lot of hate. I don't know how you feel about this next guy, LeBron. After being suspended for recklessly hitting Isaiah Stewart earlier this week, LeBron's on-court reputation has come into question. But on a recent podcast, former rival Kevin Garnett spoke highly of the Kings' competitive edge, saying, quote, "A lot of people don't know that LeBron James, he don't say it loud, but he'll bleep talk back to you. Bron a real one." Shannon, what is KG saying here?
Well, the perception is because LeBron is not boisterous, LeBron is not shoving people, LeBron is not doing the loud trash talking like Larry Bird. You could hear Larry Bird trash talking from courtside. Michael Jordan talking.
No, I don't think so on Larry.
Larry, we're talking. Larry, come here, Holmes. Hey, take this with you.
Mark Aguirre used to tell me he just whispered in his ear the whole game, stuff that I could never repeat. But
the thing was, Skip, is that when you look at LeBron, is because LeBron is not shoving people. LeBron doesn't go around acting like the bad boy Pistons or the Knicks or the Heat back in those days. People automatically think, well, LeBron's soft. All I heard, LeBron James could never, look at him flopping, he could never play in the 80s or 90s. He accidentally hit someone in the face. Oh, he dirty. Well, then which is it? Michael Jordan, I've never seen a guy get so much credit for punching a guy that's 3 inches shorter and 40 pounds lighter in the eye. Michael Jordan became a hero. That's what they needed. LeBron James actually hit somebody in the eye. Oh, he dirty. And I'm like, what? Really? LeBron James is not a Shannon Sharpe. I talk from start to finish. I win the game talking. I'm talking during the game. I'm talking after the game. Win, lose, or draw.
Loudly.
Yeah, that's what I did.
No whispering.
But that's Skip. That's not who he is, and it's okay. KG started talking from the tunnel. He get in the game, he talking. He on the bench, he's talking. That was his game. Some guys are like that.
And by the way, I think a lot of people know what he once said to Carmelo Anthony in a game at Madison Square Garden, and Carmelo had to be restrained by police after the game from challenging Kevin before he got on his bus.
Right. A lot of that was KG getting KG ready to play.
Yep.
A lot of that was to get the guy out of his game so he couldn't play. So I get that, Skip. But for me, look, all I know is that LeBron James is who he is. He should never get out of character just to appease someone that says, well, that's not the way they did it in the 80s. That's not the way they did it in the 90s. Skip, you know what they've done. They've taxed that out of the game. LeBron James hauls off and hits somebody. That's $40 million. I don't know very many guys willing to fight and give up $40 million, give up $45, give up $35 million because of what? Mm-hmm. Because the perception is that you're soft? Well, I'm going to be soft and keep my $45 million in my pocket while somebody else be hard and ain't got that money in their pocket. It doesn't make sense for you to fight on the court now. Skip, and I'm not saying Isaiah Stewart shouldn't have been upset. He should have been upset because if you accident or not, I still got hit in the face. I still needed 5 stitches to close that gash. But I'm glad because KG finally came to LeBron's defense because he's been one of LeBron's staunchest critics also. But for him to say that, it gives it credibility. Look, I get, and I was reading, I think Chris Broussard said is that LeBron is respected but isn't feared. Skip, this is not football. This is not a MMA where you want to be feared. What you gonna do? See, in football, yeah, you better fear. Hey, you feared LT because you know what he's capable. You feared Ronnie Lott because you know Ray Lewis. You know what they were capable of doing. In basketball, what LeBron gonna do? Oh, he dunked on him. Wow, that really got me shaking in my boots. Okay, he hit a deep 3. Oh, this is a different sport. Respect in basketball, I put respect in basketball over everything. In football, you're trying to be feared on one side of the ball, especially as a defensive player. So for me, Skip, it means a lot. I think it means a lot for me that KG has no questions about LeBron James' toughness.
Okay. I'm going to go back to KG, who I now call the Uncut Gem. I don't know if you saw that movie, the Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
He was very good in it.
I didn't see it, but I heard a lot of positive reviews on it.
A lot of positive reviews for Kevin's performance because he was real in it. Okay. The key line here is Bron, a real one. Okay, now we're just talking about trash talk here.
Right.
That's the context. We're not talking about physicality here, right?
Right.
We're not talking about physical toughness or fighting toughness.
Right.
Intimidating toughness.
Right.
We're just talking about trash talk. And all he's saying, I think, is that LeBron will return fire, trash talk.
Right.
Wherever you want to go, he'll go right there with you. Again, not for public consumption. He's not going to scream it to the rafters. But he will come right back at you. If you want to start with him, he'll try to finish it with you.
Skip, you remember last year? They were in Cleveland, and that executive said something to him. He said, oh, really? That's how you feeling? I'll be right back. And then he goes off in the fourth quarter, ends up dropping 46 on him. And you said, that's the LeBron I like to see. I want to see him get upset. I want him to get mad.
How many times have I told you I love mad LeBron? I'm not talking about fighting mad LeBron. I'm talking about competitively mad LeBron, angry LeBron. And I've seen glimpses and flashes of it. And when it happens, it's nuclear on the opposition because I used to see it. There was once upon a time somebody was trash talking him from the front row in Toronto, and he just went off. Then there was another trash talker in Atlanta, a heckler in Atlanta, and he just annihilated.
I think that might have been Chris Bosh's wife.
I believe one of them was. I don't remember
in
which
Toronto.
one.
I think so. I think it was.
Was she yet his?
I think it was a girl. I think they were dating.
That's what I think. Okay. Then of course there was the David Blatt. I'm calling this play for Kyrie, and you inbound the ball,
LeBron. You take the ball out.
And not on my watch, over my dead body. And what did LeBron do? You could just see it in his whole body language. Get out of the way and give me the damn ball. And he steps back in the corner, and he didn't get his feet behind the line. It was a 2. It was a long 2, but he made it. It was the game winner.
Yes.
And it's one of the best shots he's made in his career because it was a turning point shot in a series in which they were in some trouble.
Yeah, because they were about to go down 2-1, if I'm not mistaken, Skip.
And it was Derrick Rose's MVP year, so he was on fire, especially in Chicago. So high marks for all those because he just forgot about everything, and it's
that was Derrick Rose MVP year. LeBron was in Miami, so this was his first time back around.
Okay, the next year after, whatever. But Derrick Rose is still playing.
He's playing it. Yeah. Because remember, Skip, he had hit the shot. I think it was Friday night. The walk off the 3-pointer at the buzzer, and the crowd is going crazy.
Okay, so I give you all the above, and I would love to see your man LeBron play mad more, but he has to be sparked by something external. He can't do it to himself. He can't sit at his locker before the game and say, I'm mad, I'm going to go out and take it out. I am very curious to see what he does do tonight. What is his mindset tonight? Is he mad about being suspended? Because if he is, he could wreak hell on these people tonight in Indiana.
We're going to give you a little sample. We just going to give you just a little unveil, let you taste a little bit what we're capable of doing and how we're about to turn this thing around. So we're going to give you 28. We'll give you 28, 8, and 3.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so I don't have any doubts that when it comes to exchanging trash talk, that he's right there with Kevin, who's one of the great trash talkers ever. He's in the Shannon Sharpe Memorial category, right? And that LeBron would not back down verbally to even KG.
No.
I give you that. Now let's go back to Michael. And you say, well, what does it mean that he socked Steve Kerr in the eye and then he punched Will Perdue from Vanderbilt University, who's 7 feet tall, but not much.
I'm not surprised at Vanderbilt. They soft out there.
They're soft? I don't think so. I watched Darius Garland the other night. He didn't look soft to me. 4th pick in the draft. I don't know, but that's just me. So here's the point, that the message got sent. What do we learn from The Last Dance? And again, I was covering the team in 1998 in Chicago as the columnist for the Tribune, but Michael loves sending messages, and in practice, he's trying to toughen up his own squad. So if he gets ticked at somebody for playing too hard a defense on him, he's liable to sock him. Yep. And did he not toughen up a Steve Kerr and a Will Perdue to help him win championships? Yes, he did.
So what did LeBron do?
Okay,
LeBron said, y'all think I'm soft, so guess what?
Okay. Michael sent messages with those 2 socks in the eyes to the rest of the league. I am not to be trifled with. You better not mess with me because I am a bad man.
Man, and guess what? The bad boy Pistons say we don't care nothing about that.
Really? They were scared to death.
No, they were not.
Yes, they were.
Skip, you saw them snatching about it. And the Knicks.
Yeah, that's 5-on-1.
No. Xavier McDaniel, all those guys, Anthony Mason, they were not afraid of him.
Okay. Did they not fear him, though? Competitively fearing? Yes, they did.
They respected him. They said, but you're going to take these hard fouls with you.
Yeah, Larry Bird called him God and sneakers.
That's all right.
Yeah, okay.
But you know, in today's game, it's officiated different, and they don't let you. Skip, let me ask you a question. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, LeBron James is going for a layup, and somebody snatches him out the sky, like Kevin McHale did Kurt Rambis. How many games you think they'll be suspended? Or when Robert Parrish fired on Bill Laimbeer, and Bill Laimbeer laid on the floor, it's like, did he get ejected? Skip, if you foul on somebody like that, Skip, you gone for the year.
Okay.
That's $35 million.
Okay, I got it. But I also tried to make the point to you yesterday that the fact that LeBron did get suspended and it was validated by the league that this was a cheap shot, this was a dirty play. That's what the 1-game suspension is saying.
But it enhanced his, so you're trying to say it enhanced his aura?
Yeah, it does. It just sends a message that year 19, he is LeBron, and I spell Braun B-R-A-W-N because he's got some shoulders, man. Yeah. And he showed you that he is capable, deep down inside, he is capable of losing it and snapping.
Stop saying that.
He snapped.
Until he did.
He snapped.
It was an accident, Skip. It was an accident.
You should embrace this.
No, I'm not embracing nothing because I don't believe that he did it.
Because it does send a good message for LeBron, you better back off.
No, we don't want to send those kind of messages.
What's been happening more and more at the rim? Well, they don't respect him at the free throw line, so they're just going to foul him. But they hard foul him. They Shaq foul him.
Yeah, and we don't get the calls.
You don't get the calls. Well, maybe
What's up
people
with
will
that?
be a little more hesitant now to just have open season fouls on LeBron at the rim. Maybe they'll think, I don't know, maybe he's going to fire
Nah,
on me.
because LeBron knows now anything that he does is going to be even more scrutinized. And, I mean, Skip, I thought the thing last night, I thought they was going to interview because Porzingis, he got tangled up with a jump ball with Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
I thought they was going to review that and go throw it because he threw an elbow, caught the man in the chin.
Thought so, too. Agreed.
So LeBron is going to have to be on his best. Like I said, LeBron's going to play his game. He realized it was an accident. They jock him for a position, and we're going to move on, but we're going to turn this thing around starting tonight with Indiana.
Okay, I got it. So I'm going to go big picture one last time here, and I'm going to reiterate what I always say. My issue when we do Jordan versus LeBron is just simply killer will. Jordan had it. I don't think LeBron has. I don't think he ever has had the clutch gene the way Jordan did. So that's my biggest, and that's not about physicality. That's not about fighting. That's just about heart and guts and mind control, where I'm going to dominate you with my mind because I'm going to take this game over and you will not be able to stop me when it's time to stop me. That's Michael. That's not LeBron.
That's LeBron, because we run the whole thing, Skip. See, all you can do is score to impact the game. We control the whole game. We're going to determine how many points you score because I'm going to control the pace of the game. You think you're going to get up and down? That's not going to happen on my watch. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get me 12 rebounds. You know what I'm going to do also? I'm going to get me 15 assists. And I'm going to score you 33 points. That's what I'm capable of doing. And when you need me to lock up 1 through 5, I'll do that. Because we saw him did what he did to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose MVP season. Y'all go back and look at that in the playoffs. You didn't think he could play. Go ask Tony Parker. What he did to Tony Parker. And then when they went big, guess who took Tim Duncan down the stretch?
Really?
1 through 5. Go James could do that. Something Michael could never, ever do.
And guess who fell apart down the stretch of Game 6 of the 2013 Finals against my Spurs? LeBron James came apart.
Skip, don't do that.
Came unraveled.
Skip.
3 turnovers in the last 3 minutes? Are you kidding me?
Hold up.
Unforced errors?
Hold on. Are you talking about the game that we won? That y'all had on a silver platter?
The game that Ray Allen saved your legacy?
No, they didn't say no legacy. We're not even, without Goat James in the fourth quarter, we're not even in that spot. Remember, Skip, you got to be in position to seize the moment. It was his 16 that got us there.
Okay. All I know is that true mental toughness is making late-game clutch free throws, which is your man's Achilles heel.
We saw it in Game 7 when Draymond fouled him. He made it, sealed the ball game. He's done it.
Rare.
He's done it. That is rare. You ask him to do it, he does it, and now you say it's rare.
He's the worst superstar late-game free throw shooter ever.
Think about what you just said.
Yep.
He's the worst. You know what I want to be? I want to be the poorest billionaire in the world. That's what I want to be, the poorest one. I don't need to be Elon Musk. I want to be the poorest one.
Well, he is. He's the poorest billionaire. That's what he is. I'll give you that.
No mercy.
This Thanksgiving, you have a free chance to win $100,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money playing Fox Bet Super 6. Congratulations to Nate from Nebraska, who won Terry's $100,000 last Sunday. And, of course, you could be next. So scan the QR code now. Enter your picks in the Thanksgiving Challenge for your chance at the jackpot. Don't miss out. It's free to play. Download the Super 6 app now. So the New York Giants parted ways with offensive coordinator Jason Garrett yesterday, less than 2 years after taking the job, as Big Blue's struggles on that side of the ball were on full display in a loss to the Bucs on Monday. Joe Judge said it wasn't a snap decision and added, quote, "I don't think there's ever an ideal time to make a change like this in a season." So Shannon, did he deserve to be fired?
Jason Garrett's a scapegoat. I equate the equivalent, Skip, of throwing deck chairs off the Titanic once it hit the iceberg. No matter what happens, Skip, it's going down. No matter what happens, Joe Judge, this ship is going down. Your offensive line is atrocious. Now, the first blame they should have fired was Dave Gettleman, because this happened in 2019. They had 3 first-round picks. The first guy they selected was Daniel Jones. He leads the NFL in turnovers upon his selection into the NFL. Dexter Lawrence at number 17. He's just been a guy. Nothing special, a guy. DeAndre Baker was the number 30th pick. He's out of the league. He was charged with armed robbery in 2020. Eventually, the charges were dropped, but he's currently out of the league.
But a very talented player, but troubled. Go ahead.
But when you miss, Skip, you have 3 first-rounders, and you miss on every one of them.
Agreed.
You set yourself up for failure.
You do.
Your offensive line, is atrocious. Now, I think the left tackle can be good, but I think it's going to take some time. You're going to have to, because I watched Garrett Bowles, and he was really, really bad for a number of years. And they got Mike Munchak, brought him in there, and he turned himself into a Pro Bowl player. So I've seen it work where guys are not so good early on, and they turn out to be pretty good. But so Dave Gettleman needs to go. Now, I can't think of a nicer guy this could happen to, because the Giants don't win another game. Because I went and got this article. Because you remember when the Colin Kaepernick thing, this was in 2017.
Yep.
He said, all my years in the league, I've never received
this.
John Mara, the owner.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
He said, in all my years, I've never received more emotional mail from people than I did about this issue. If any of your players do that, you're never coming to another Giants game. So I want to know, John Mara, you read fan mail. Can you tell me what the fans are saying now about your Giants? Now, I need you to go on the radio and tell me how emotional these fans are about this Giants. Because I've talked to a lot of Giants fans. They're not happy. So, and second of all, you hired a guy that shouldn't have got the job anyway. You bypassed more and more candidates that were more qualified than Joe Judge, but you wanted somebody off the Belichick tree. Skip, how many times did the Belichick... Look,
he went to the bottom of the tree. He went to the special teams.
As a matter of fact, Skip, he went to the fruit that was already on the ground.
Yep.
You know it's rotten, ain't no good. He had already fell off the tree. He didn't go pick it. So y'all need to stop getting these Belichick guys off the Belichick tree, because the only thing that bears fruit is the tree itself, and that's Coach Bill Belichick.
Yep.
Look at the history. Look at every coach that's come off that tree and how it's turned out. So, Skip, look, I'm not saying Jason Garrett. I don't know if Jason Garrett's going to ever get another job, Skip. He probably stayed a little bit longer. You believe he stayed a little bit longer as the head coach at the Cowboys than he should have. He probably shouldn't have even got the job but you know how it is, Skip. Hey, man, you know Jason looking for a job. Yeah, I like him. I'll bring him on. Skip, you know how that brother-in-law system works, that buddy-buddy system. But, Skip, look here. This isn't about no... If they think firing Jason Garrett is going to solve their issues with that porous offensive line, that Nate Solder contract, he's getting his look worse and worse. They moved him from left tackle because he was awful over there, and now he's an awful right tackle. The next move, home with the wife and kids. He's terrible. This offensive line is terrible. Dave Gettleman needs to go, because guess what, Skip? He built this. He put all this together. But he still got a job. Since he's been the GM in 4 years, he's 18-40. But he still got a job. But you fired Jason Garrett because you say Jason Garrett was the problem. No, he's not. Dave Gettleman is the problem. And the ownership, I hate it for the Tisches because I like the Tish. But that's John Mara. If the Giants don't win another game for the Knicks, 14 years, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Okay, I hear you and I understand. My first thought when I saw this was, I tried to warn Giants fans. This is who he is and who he is not. This is Jason Garrett. It was a mistake to hire him in the first place to be your offensive coordinator. I covered Jason when he was the backup to Troy Aikman. I know Jason. He is a great guy. He's such a great guy. He's so much fun to be around that Bill Belichick considers him one of his closest friends. And Jason and his wife have actually vacationed with Bill and his lady out on Nantucket. And they've had many long nights and dinners together because they are tight. And Jason is good people and good company. And I get
the little bit
I've
been around him, Skip, I like him.
He is extremely likable. Is he a great head coach? Well, obviously he's not. Was he a great puppet for Jerry Jones? You better believe he was. He was the ultimate puppet for Jerry because he was a good hang on Friday afternoon after the final big practice of the week. He could do beer and nachos with Jerry just as well as anybody's ever done it with Jerry. Kind of the opposite of Jimmy, because Jimmy didn't really want to hang with Jerry, but Jason did. And so it really puffed up Jerry because he was like a son. And he was family to Jerry. So Jerry kept him for the interim part of that one season and then kept him for 9 fulls. 9 full seasons. And 4 of those full seasons were 8-8. And I always said if a coach could wear a number in an NFL game, Jason's number should have been 8-8, right? That should have been his number, 8-8, because he was born to finish 8-8. But you look at it, he had 4 full seasons with a winning record, and he had 5 full seasons with a non-winning record for my Dallas Cowboys, America's team. And it just drove me crazy in a weird way because he wasn't bad. He just wasn't good.
Right.
You know, like you just keep saying, well, he's 8 and he's 8. You can't condemn it. You can't crush it, but you can't love it. You can't embrace it because he's always going to be just good enough to disappoint you,
yes.
right, in the end. So I look at the overall record. It wasn't terrible, 85 and 67 as the Cowboy coach, but remember what happened? He had but he had a 13 and 3 in 2016, and we go back to 2014. He had a 12 and 4.
Right.
And then what happened in the playoffs? Well, in 12 and 4, they did beat Detroit by hook or crook because they got a call in the game. I'll give you that. But then they got crooked up at Green Bay because Dez caught it. So I don't know what to do with that. It's kind of 50-50. It's kind of 8 and 8-ish, right? And then 2016, they're just not ready to play. And I know Dak's a rookie and Zeke's a rookie, but the defense wasn't ready to play. And I look up and it's like 21-3, Aaron Rodgers visiting Jerry World. And we had home field throughout the playoffs. We were the 1 seed.
Right.
We could have gone to Atlanta the next week to play for the Super Bowl, right? Okay. And what? And so we roared back and we tied it at 31, and then we got Mason crossbarred by 2 intergalactic field goals that traveled 51 and 56 yards. Okay, we got all that. But it's just who he is and who he's not. Nice guy, but there was no creative flair in his play calling, and he called plays for much of his tenure. Kellen Moore did at the end.
But that's the thing, Skip. In today's game, it's just not good enough to be, okay, we're going to do this like when I play. Skip, you got to get creative. If you look at these offenses, they're doing things, the really good offenses, that take you to the next level. Right. It's just not handoff. It's just not power, toss. Okay. Skip, even the run game has gotten creative. So
listen, I make fun of Andy Reid occasionally, but I will be the first to admit that I watch Andy Reid games, and every once in a while I just sit back and say, God, you know, I didn't see that coming, because that's a play call.
And plus, what Andy does, Skip, he finds ways to get the ball to the playmaker's hand. Okay, McCall Hardman, you're struggling catching the football. We're going to pitch it to you behind the line of scrimmage. Now let your punt and kick return skills take over. Tyreek, we're going to find ways to get the ball in your hand. Kelsey, we want the ball in your hand. So, hey, you can hand it off or you can keep it yourself. He's just finding ways to be creativity. There is no creativity.
You know, he lines up Kelsey in the 1st and goal to 2 in the pistols, like a pistol with Mahomes behind him, and he's flanked by 2 running backs. Okay, I don't know. It worked. He just fakes right and then goes up the middle. But again, a lot of it's Andy saying, watch this, like he's feeding his own ego. But it's very creative. It has flair to it. It has pizzazz.
Keeps the guys interested. They're like, oh, man, I wonder what Andy got drawn up for this week.
I wonder what. Okay, I never saw any of that from Jason, and neither did the Giants.
No.
Are they hamstrung by the quarterback that they picked? Well, neither of us liked him because I watched him a good bit at Duke, and I was like, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
Okay? Well, so is Jason. He's just a guy, but he is a made man in this league. He is highly respected and beloved. So just watch what happens. He's going to get a job. Well, he just will. And it's a good old boy network, even though Jason's from New Jersey originally. But his father was a scout for the Cowboys and for many other teams. And his brother's been in the NFL. The point is, they're family. They're NFL family. And that's how he got that job in New York. And it feels good when you hire him. Oh, he was the Dallas Cowboy coach. And he did what? Did he make Daniel Jones any better? Well, it's probably impossible because he's 26th in QBR as we speak. And
he's a turnover machine.
He's a turnover machine, and he was the 6th overall pick, back to your Gettleman point. And it was a shocker. It came out of nowhere. What are you doing?
Let me ask you a question, Skip. Let me ask you a question. If he's not coached by Peyton and Eli's coach, former coach, is he going in the first round? Is he that high pick?
I don't think so, because he got blessed by David Cutcliffe, and he probably got blessed by Peyton.
Peyton and Eli's former coach. Like, I mean, Peyton and Eli, they swear by him. He's got to be good. Okay, and when I watch him, I tweeted this the other night, he is 6'5", and he's very athletic for his size. He can run, and he's got a nice arm. And I think, I see so much talent, and then most of the time he just looks lost. He does.
And that interception he threw the other night, I have no idea. To McClendon, it's like what to the defensive line.
And McClendon, here's the thing, this will make it bad, Skip. McClendon is laying on the ground.
On the ground? He's right in the hands on the ground, like, I got to catch this.
The dude like, hold on, wait a minute. I just on the ground over here. I'm just minding my business.
That was the fourth down.
That was the 4th down.
Here's the one to McClendon. I don't know. When I saw this, I said, what? What are you doing?
Bruh, of all the places you could have thrown the ball, just don't throw it to the guy with that color jersey on.
Man, that was the one moment I did pity Giants fans, because That's where you just sit back and say, that's just horrible. Like, that will not work.
Okay, I get all that, Skip. I get that Jason Garrett is not creative. You don't see the maturation of the quarterback. You don't see...
He's milk toasty.
Right.
You know, like he's just...
He's blah.
He's blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's oatmeal.
Yeah.
And he ain't got no brown sugar. He ain't got no cinnamon.
No,
he ain't got no apple.
oatmeal.
Yeah, he's a plain oatmeal. Getting that quicker with the bat, the guy that hat on, the plain water.
And
5 minutes.
They say it's heart healthy, and it probably is, but it doesn't taste like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, so what are you going to do about Gettleman? Does he get another year? Joe Judge, you're going to bring Joe Judge back? Have you not seen enough? I mean, so maybe he didn't run the guys enough. Maybe the coaches didn't do enough push-ups when the players made a mistake.
Okay.
Skip, and I said this. I say that works good for Coach Belichick because Coach Belichick has won. I promise you, all the things that Coach Belichick got an opportunity to get away with, had he not won early, there's no way that's flying. Okay. You see what Matt Patricia tried to Detroit? And the guys like, man, if you don't get out my face, you see what Joe Judge tried to New York? And they're like, bro, if you don't get out my face, that doesn't work unless you win. And you're not Coach Belichick. So you already coming in, they're like looking at you that you're not him.
That is correct. So in the end, Jason Garrett has called plays for 26 games in New York, and they scored 31 time in 26 games. And yet, in the offseason, they threw a ton of money at Galladay to start with. That was a ton of money right there.
And where is he?
And then that little kid they drafted late in the first round out of Florida,
he's
electric.
I like him, but they don't know how to get him the ball.
But he terrorized my Cowboys late in what was a blowout. We couldn't stop it.
Yes.
And he made some plays the other night, but they can't figure it out.
They don't know how to get him the ball.
How are you not better? Because your receiving core is pretty good, but it doesn't play.
Are they really, Skip? You like Evan Ingram? Look at Evan Ingram, all that talent. 6'5", ran 4.4.
He made a couple of plays the other night, but not enough. Okay.
I mean, we keep saying that they spent a lot of money, and Slayton is hit or miss. Okay. Galladay has not performed to the contract that they gave him.
Sterling Shepard didn't play the other night.
Sterling Shepard and Saquon can't stay healthy, and behind that offensive line, he's never going to be healthy.
I've never been the biggest Saquon fan. So anyway, you're hamstrung, and now I'll give you this. I'll give you scapegoat. But he was bound to be the scapegoat from the day you hired him.
He made it easy for you to scapegoat.
All right. And I'm not crying any tears over here for the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm not either.
No mercy.
Thanksgiving Day, the tradition on Fox continues as we come together for food, family, and football when the Bears take on the Lions. Coverage begins tomorrow with a special edition of the Fox NFL pregame show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, live from New York City, right next to the Thanksgiving Day parade, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. How about that, guys? Well, LeBron James is expected to return from his one-game suspension for the final stop on the Lakers road trip. LA came up short to the Knicks without the King last night, and now will face the 8-11 Pacers on the second night of a back-to-back before heading back to Staples Center. So, Shannon, Fox Bet Sportsbook has LA as 1.5-point underdogs tonight. Wow. So, will LeBron lead them to a win at Indiana?
Yep. Just like that.
Just like that.
You want a case on it?
Maybe. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think him coming back, being off, I think he's going to play somewhere around 32, 33 minutes tonight, get back in the swing of things. I think he'll be very, very efficient. I think the team, I love the way they played, especially in the third quarter. But they need to play, Skip, they don't start out playing defense. They start out making a couple of shots, and they're like, okay, we just going to go let y'all make y'all shots, and we'll make more shots than you guys. But they don't play defense. You look at the fourth quarter, Sunday, and the way they locked down, scored 37 points, held Detroit to 17. Look at what they did last night. Scored 30, held the Knicks to 20. They're more than capable. Don't tell me they can't. They can.
Then they scored 19 in the fourth.
Then they scored 19. I get it. You're asking a lot of these guys that's on the Lakers roster, Skip, for the most part, have never been asked to play defense. That's not what Malik Monk, that's not what Wayne Ellen and Carmelo and Russ, they were never really asked to play defense. And I get it. But you got to play team. You got to play smart defense. You got to do better against the pick and roll. People pick and roll, pick and pop them to death. I'm like, bro, come on now. Forgive me. What y'all doing in shoot around? What y'all when y'all watch tape? What are you talking about?
Yep.
So for me, I understand that I don't want to make this, Skip, like this is a must win. Because if they win this game, what are they going to be? 10-10, 20. I think it's 20 games into the season, Skip. So you still got 62 games left.
Yep.
They're going to win. LeBron makes it easier for a lot of people. And he's going to make it easier for AD. AD will have a bounce-back game. AD will be something like 25-12. Russ will be close to his triple-double with about 20, 10 and 9. And LeBron will chip in with 28, 8 and 3. And we win by 4.
8 and 3?
Yeah.
LeBron James is going to have 3 assists?
3 rebounds.
Oh, 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're doing it out of order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you that question. LeBron James is going to have only 3 rebounds?
That's what I said. Stop saying there you go. See what you did? I see what you did. Now I just told you the man going to have 28 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. LeBron James, 6'9", 260 pounds, only going to have 3 rebounds? Yeah, 3.
As he returns with a vengeance
28.
to protest his unjust suspension?
11 of 16 from the floor.
So the last time I witnessed LeBron James on a basketball court was Sunday evening in Detroit.
There you go.
And it was the middle of the third quarter. And at that point, he'd scored a grand total against the, at that point, 4-11 Pistons. He had scored a grand total of 10 points.
Yeah.
And he had a grand total of 1 rebound.
Yeah.
10 and 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The GOAT? Quote unquote, or phony GOAT.
But you know, Skip, at any given moment we can go off.
Well, I'll buy that, but he wasn't going off there. And then his team went off on the Pistons without him in the fourth quarter, 37-17. It was a tour de force. It was AD, and it was Russ, and it was Russ, and it was AD. And I said, boy, Melo.
Hey, Melo.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Against the 4-11 Pistons, who have now fallen to 4-13 on the season, just for posterity's sake. So the point is, he wasn't exactly lifting them to greater heights that day because they were down 12 when he got into the fracas after he cheap-shotted one Isaiah.
Stop saying that he didn't.
It was a dirty play. We all know it. The league validated it, but he did it, and all of a sudden, his team was somehow weirdly inspired by his cheap shot.
Yeah.
But they were, and yet they couldn't carry it over to Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball last night, because they just stunk it up, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah, they did. They did.
They were not ready to play because maybe they kept looking at replays of the cheap shot saying, God.
But stop. They didn't looking at no replays and no cheap shot. They're not thinking about that. They were getting ready to play a basketball game, and they say our brother accidentally hit somebody in the eye.
So last night they were, I believe it closed at about 5.5. They were 5.5-point dogs at Madison Square Garden against the 9-8 Knicks without LeBron James.
Right.
I think it opened at around, maybe they're a 1-point dog with LeBron. It fell all the way to 5.5. I get that. No LeBron.
Right.
Okay, but now they go to Indiana. Indiana's pretty good, but they're not that good. They're 8-11.
Right.
Okay. 8-11 Indiana is now a 1.5 favorite at home with LeBron James. We all expect him to be back and maybe back with a vengeance.
Bet the money on the Lakers and take the points and bet the Lakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. So I'm here to remind my partner across the table that the last time I watched some of the Pacers was on Monday night back in the house that Jordan built, the United Center in Chicago. Against
Bulls
the
had a bad game.
once hot Bulls,
Yeah.
the surprise team of the entire league for the early part of this season. And what happened? The Pacers wiped out the Bulls on their home floor, 109-77. If my math serves me, that's 32 points. They won by 32 against they were 12-5 going into the game, 12-5 Bulls.
Yeah,
really?
They had a bad game, Skip. It happens.
Well, it does because they shot 6 of 28 from 3, so that'll do it because that's 21.4%. So that's basically what didn't happen for the Bulls. But a lot of good happened over here for these guys because their whole starting 5 was all in double figures. Justin Holiday made 4 threes. Sabonis was a monster with 21 and 11. And Miles Turner did his part. And it's Karis LeVert and it's Malcolm Brogdon. And I'll take a case.
I remember I wanted Malcolm Brogdon in
Okay, you did, but you didn't get him. He is still a Pacer. I'll take a case.
Okay.
1 case tonight.
Gotcha.
I got the home team. Thank you very much.
Look at you. You feeling good about yourself, aren't you?
Feeling very good.
You won't feel good in the morning, though, because you'll be down 2 cases in a week.
I bet on the wrong team last night because I bet on the sorry Lakers featuring Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter.
Your Clippers didn't play much better last night either.
This isn't about the Clippers. They don't have their best player.
But guess what? We didn't have our best player.
Well, you do now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you foolishly bet against it.
And you had him in Detroit, and you were on the way to another
I don't know about on the way.
ignominious loss. That was going to be ignominious.
You know what, Skip? I was on my way to someplace the other day, and then I remembered I had to do something else, and I didn't make it to that destination. We didn't make it to that L destination. We went to the winner's circle.
Without the king.
That's okay.
Without the king. That's interesting.
We win as a team, we lose as a team.
Well, look, I think you're going to lose with the king at Detroit.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
That's not happening. We winning that game.
Well, I don't like my chances.
Monster game from our big three.
Really?
Carmelo hits like 4 or 5 threes. Malik Monk give us 2.
So AD was under the weather last night. Does that mean he's going to take off the second half of back-to-back?
Nope.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
He may need to just get a little bed rest.
There you go. See, now you want the man to take off because you want to increase your chance to think you're not winning. Even if AD takes off, you're not winning this game.
Yep. Your man Vogel, who's probably on the hot seat today, if not for good. He did try to plan for the future because I think he saved Bazemore and Rondo last night because he didn't play them 1 second last night.
What he saving them for?
For tonight.
For what?
Well, because of back-to-back, he's trying to be Popovich, where he would always keep a couple players back for the next night.
We're trying to win games. Look, I'm sorry. You don't have Golden State or the Suns record. You can't be holding anything back. You need to throw it all out there.
DeMontis, you're on.
AD gonna give him that work.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Well, AD wasn't giving anybody any work last night.
That's okay, Skip.
What do you have, like 5 boards?
That's okay. I mean, look, he had a little.
Oh, he was sick. I forgot. That's right.
No, he had 6 boards.
Oh,
He had
6 boards. Oh, way to go.
But he was +8.
Yeah, he played tall last night.
We're all trying to justify it. Let's see what they do with the king back in action.
No mercy.
Dak and the Cowboys look to have a short-term memory this week when Derek Carr and the Raiders roll into town on Thursday. Dallas has lost 2 of their past 3 games, and it appears that neither Amari Cooper nor CeeDee Lamb will be available for the Thanksgiving showdown. That's a big bummer. Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that the Cowboys will win the NFC East right now?
9.5.
9.5?
Yeah, they got a 2.5 game lead in a terrible division. Why are the Cowboy fans worried? I just want to know what happened to the Super Bowl talk. I heard all on social media talking about get your Super Bowl ticket ready early.
Why don't you ask the $75 million man?
No, I'm asking Skip Bayless.
Okay.
You the president of the Cowboy fan club.
$75 million. Whew.
What happened, Skip?
I don't know. Ask him.
No, I'm asking you. You know all things Cowboy. You've been covering the Cowboys for 40 years. Before
Is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn just yet. Can you hold on? The Cowboys' next 5 games. Raiders have lost 3 straight. The Saints have lost 3 straight. Washington, the Giants, which are the Titanic that hit the iceberg, pardon the pun, and the Washington football team. So you worried about that, huh, Skip?
What's Washington been doing?
Hopefully they do what they've been doing to you guys.
They beat the GOAT, and then they went down to Carolina, and Cam's return, his big debut at home. What happened? Tyler Taylor Heineke outplayed Cam Newton.
He did.
Okay.
He did. And I know another guy he outplayed. You don't want to talk about that, do you?
Who?
Taylor Heineke outplayed another guy.
He did not.
Don't do that.
If Brady had just gotten the ball back, they would have won that game.
I don't know. But here's the thing. Now, this is what you would go in a panic mode. You would pull out all your hair. All the Cowboy fans pull out all their hair. Now, they lose to the Raiders and the Saints.
So are you just trying to jinx us by saying you're a 9.5 on the scale of 10 in confidence?
Skip, you just told me the Raiders are sinking fast. They just lost 3 straight. They just got blown out at home. Back-to-back weeks at home, give up 40-plus points. And now you want me to take them. They on a short week, got to travel, dealing with what they're dealing with this season, with their head coach getting fired, him suing the league and commissioner, Henry Ruggs and his situation. So you want me to take the Raiders on a short week, dealing with what they're dealing with against you guys.
At one point, the Raiders had beaten Baltimore on a Monday night extravaganza showcase at home. Remember that game?
I do remember.
Overtime?
Yeah.
The walk-off?
Yeah.
And that eventually got them up to 5-2, and they were leading your old division.
Yeah.
The AFC West was led by the once Oakland Raiders.
I remember a time when you guys had won like 6 in a row, and people was talking about Super Bowl. The Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Now you just happy if you can just hold on and win the division.
Okay, so the Raiders have lost 3 straight coming out of their bye. But my team has, I feel like I'm back on the old, what I used to call the Romo coaster, because my head is spinning because we just do this.
Good.
And when this starts happening this late in the season, it is trouble. As Tom Landry used to preach and teach me, you have to, he used the word streak, you have to streak into the playoffs, and it needs to start somewhere right around here, right? And all I know is that your Broncos came in and leveled us and left me spinning, literally almost in my grave spinning.
Was that after your bye week? That was off your bye week too, wasn't it?
Down 30-0 early in the fourth quarter, and then I loved it that Mike McCarthy did leave Dak in the game, and he's throwing touchdown passes to Malik Turner, who I didn't even know who he was. Malik Turner up off the practice squad to get us back to 30-16 at the end of the game and make it, quote-unquote, respectable.
It wasn't respectable because everybody that watched the game, no. They even flexed out of the game. They flexed out of that. Let that sink in for a second. The Cowboys got flexed out.
Yeah, and then here came Atlanta, and it was like Super Bowl, here we come, because Dak had a QBR of 94 in that game and looked like he was all world in that game, right?
What it looked like?
And then up at Kansas City, I still can't comprehend what exactly happened because Dak Prescott stunk at Kansas City.
I can explain it to you. You're the Cowboys. That's what you do.
Okay.
I keep telling you, it's the expectation, the anticipation. And I say there's no greater feeling to have the anticipation, the build of what the Cowboys potentially think. Because Jerry starts running his mouth, Steven starts running his mouth, Skip Bayless start banging on the table, about to break the table. I've asked you to stop doing
break my hand. That's what's about to break.
Yeah, you come out here.
See how black and blue it gets.
Yeah. And everybody talking about, oh, Cowboy. You a Cowboy hater. No, I'm a Cowboy realist. I'm a realist.
You're a hater.
Yeah, I'm like Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. I just predict what's going to happen. That's all I do, Skip. I can predict the market.
Really?
Yeah.
You're way over my head with that reference. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. I'm predicting
I
with the
do know
Cowboys.
what you're saying, what you're doing, what your MO
What am I
is
doing?
here.
What?
9.5 on a scale of 10. I don't believe you. I think you are lying to the American public, because I believe if I could put you on a lie detector right now sitting in that chair over there, that you'd say your scale of confidence level would be at a 2 for the Cowboys to win the East, because you have 10 cases of Diet Mountain Dew bet on this.
But I did not anticipate. The East is even worse than I previously thought it was going to be. I did not expect the Cowboys to build this big lead where they got up, I think they got up to 4 games. Skip, I didn't envision that. I didn't see that coming. I thought the thing would be nip and tuck. I only had the Cowboys picked to win like 9 or 10 games.
Yep.
And here they are, and they've already almost there now. They win 2 more games, and you got the Raiders and you got the Saints. Really? So if you can't beat Derek Carr, that's what they got going on in Vegas. If you can't beat Trevor Siemian,
Derek Carr is still second in passing yards per game in the National Football League to the GOAT down in Tampa. He's second. So he is highly capable of doing destruction on you on a Thanksgiving Day stage. Yeah, because Darren Waller is no joke.
Let me ask you a question.
I don't think Hunter Renfrow is any joke.
Can I ask you a question? What about that defense that keep giving up 40 points a game? Are they a joke?
Okay, is my offense capable of scoring 40 points? Because I didn't see any offense. We had the ball 12 times at Kansas City, and we scored 3 field goals. 3 field goals in 12 possessions. We did not make it to the end zone against a defense that you have said is torchable. That's what
they
you
are.
told me.
They were.
Yeah,
but
they were.
How about this? You guys at home, nobody is bigger front runners than the Dallas Cowboys. You guys get an early 7-0 lead, 14-0 lead, and you guys will pour it on.
Okay.
But don't let that game get close in the third quarter, because I know y'all will fold like a lawn chair.
So you're saying my quarterback was not worth the $75 million?
No, that ain't what I said. No, he was worth that.
Because I told you, and I'm going to stand by what I said, I love Dak, but I didn't love him $75 million worth.
Man, that's the going rate.
Jerry overpaid. You can give me going rate all you want, but it's just too much for Dak Prescott, because I've always had him edge of the top 10. I think occasionally I'll rank him like 10th. Right now I'd rank him about 15th, because
you just said that.
Well, that's 2 of the last 3 games. He has not looked like anywhere close to a top 10 quarterback.
Let me ask you a question. You put premium unleaded in your car, right? How's that? It's $5.49 to $6 a gallon. That's the going rate. You want that gas in your car or not? You want that type of quarterback or not? That's the going rate. Pay it.
Yeah, but it only costs like $60 to fill my tank up. It doesn't cost $75 million.
Well, guess what? $60 is a lot of money to a lot of different people.
Okay, well, I'll give you that, but it's not $75 million.
75 ain't nothing. That's the go. That ain't nothing. What Josh Allen get?
Where would you rank Dak Prescott? You got him in the top 10? No.
I rank him the same place I rank the Cowboys.
Yeah, right. Middle of the pack.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, so what's happened in Philadelphia? As I predicted, the biggest threat to my Dallas Cowboys is actually the Philadelphia Eagles featuring Jalen Hurts. What is that young head coach there, Nick Sirianni, finally figured out? He got it through his thick head. Oh, we run it way better than we throw it, right? So we're just going to start running teams off the field.
And they did.
And here
that
they come.
Sunday.
And my team should be doing that to the Raiders tomorrow at Jerry World.
Yeah.
But I doubt they will. They'll probably put the game back in Dak's hands.
Well,
And I'll be closing one eye watching it.
How about
but
this?
The point is, are the Eagles not dangerous? Do we not have to finish? Our last game is at Philadelphia.
Y'all losing that game.
But it feels like it could be for all the marbles.
You guys are losing that game. Skip,
Okay.
I told you, now we revisit this. If you ask me this, you say y'all play next Thursday. So if we have this conversation next Friday about, okay, how concerned are, how confident that the Cowboys will win the NFC East, I might have a different answer because I have different information.
Yes,
but as we speak right now, 2.5 game lead, and you're playing the Raiders at home, you should sleep well tonight.
Okay, so I am now 7-3. I predicted 12-5 to start with, and then I upped it after we won 6 in a row, and I said, well, at least we could win 13-4, right?
You want to take it back down to 11 and 6?
I think realistic is 12-5 right now, but you have to win tomorrow. This is do or die as far as what kind of season we're about to have. If we lose tomorrow, which I still think is possible given the fact that we have teetered in 2 of the last 3 games, if we throw another
y'all ain't teetered, y'all just flat out lost. It wasn't no teetering. Y'all wasn't close to winning those games.
Twice. If we lose this game, we are in huge trouble because I got to tell you, New Orleans still has a serious defense. And when you're playing them in that building, the Superdome, and you have to understand, I know the history of New Orleans versus Dallas. There's bad blood between the cities. They're kind of always been like a Cowboy wannabe. There are a lot of Cowboy fans in that region, and it makes the Saints fans just out of their minds crazed when the Cowboys come to town. So it'll be crazy. And what happened the last time we went there? We lost to Teddy Bridgewater, and Dak Prescott mustered up 10 points.
He's notorious for giving you like the 9 pieces, or 10 pieces. I mean, we went to New England a couple of years ago, gave you a 9 piece.
Yep, we lost to Teddy Bridgewater 12-10.
Yep. Oh, and remember y'all went to Philly that year too. What y'all have, 8, 9 points in that game?
Yep. We lost a lot of 13-9s, right? 13-9 at New England, right?
Skip.
I think that game wound up.
Y'all
like
playing
you
playing the Raiders.
Yeah,
the Raiders.
Okay, at one point they were 5-2.
At one point, you guys were 6-1.
Okay. So
and then what happened?
We're both teetering and tumbling, right?
It couldn't happen to a nicer team.
Okay, and so I keep warning you and warning myself, because I'm a realist over here, that what we have left is if we happen to lose to either the Raiders or the Saints or both, then all of a sudden we haven't played a single road division game yet, not a single one. So we have to go to Washington, and I already said it. They just beat the GOAT, and they beat Cam in his return to Carolina.
Gonna beat
right?
You.
Okay, so the point is, at Washington, you like my chances at Washington? Because that little quarterback, he's just a little gamer.
He made to go.
It's what they used to, the old baseball term, he's like a pepper pot. That's what he is. He's a little pepper pot. He's just full of energy and guts and guile and playmaking, right?
Before we toss this thing back to Jenny, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Y'all still them boys?
Oh, I don't know. About to find out tomorrow.
We don't. Hold on.
Yeah.
What about Michael Parsons? Are y'all not to be messed with? Are y'all not to be, that's not what he said. Are y'all still not to be messed with? I'm just curious.
Micah Parsons is maybe all we have. It's Micah Parsons.
And that ain't enough.
When have you ever heard a rookie is it for a team? Like, this team goes as Micah goes.
I'm just asking you a question.
Yep.
Are y'all them boys?
I don't know. We're going to find out tomorrow.
Are the Cowboys not to be messed with? Because that's what, I mean, last week, after you won the game last week, you were bumping them gums.
Was he not to be messed with at Kansas City, Micah? Was he not to be messed with?
He's messed with the Cowboys.
Yeah. He is not to be messed with, but he was speaking for himself more than for his team.
That don't speak for yourself. Hold on. I thought Jerry said we are a we, not a me.
Yeah.
Now, if he want to play golf or tennis, he want to be Novak Djokovic. He want to be one of those guys.
Yep.
He want to be a DeChambeau. Okay, fine. Go play an individual sport. You play a team sport. It ain't no me. It's a we. And then we get messed with. Yes, you did.
DeChambeau is going to lose tomorrow to Brooks Koepka. Just a little aside, but Micah Parsons is in the running. I think he has a great shot at winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, I give you, okay.
That's all I got.
He wins that, and you guys don't win Super Bowl. What is that?
We'll see.
Because all I heard is that we going, Shannon, when you going to be your worst dream going to come true. The Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
So I warn you, we've got 2 Washingtons left, home and away. We've got Arizona at home. Everybody tells me they're the best team in football. Right?
Everybody, hey, Kyle will be back healthy.
He probably will.
D-Hop will be back healthy.
Okay, and we got to go to the Giants for what it's worth. They always play us tough at the Giants. We got to go to Philadelphia.
That'll be losses.
It's a lot of stuff left.
Boy, we
I see 4 more losses on that.
Do you?
I see 4 losses on there right there.
Up and down.
Why are you a
These Cowboys
9.5
fans.
then on confidence? You should be
Can't keep
9.5
track.
confidence they're going to lose these.
Here's the thing though. If y'all were 2.5 games behind, that'd be a different story. But y'all in the catbird seat. Y'all sitting pretty.
No
y'all got everybody
catbird
chasing
seat.
you guys.
No catbird seat. Enough talking about the Cowboys. It's all I can handle for now.
No mercy.
All right, LeBron James is expected to return from his 1-game suspension for the final stop on the Lakers road trip. LA came up short to the Knicks without the King last night and now will face the 8-11 Pacers on the second night of a back-to-back before heading back to Staples Center. Now joined by First Things First co-host Chris Broussard. Chris, Foxbet Sportsbook had the Pacers as 1.5-point favorites earlier today. And that number has grown to 4.5 now. So how surprised are you that LeBron's Lakers are slight underdogs?
I'm stunned. All right, look, I get that Indiana's coming off a big win over the Chicago Bulls. I get that the Lakers are on a back-to-back. I get that the Lakers are 2-5 on the road and the Pacers are 5-2 at home. But LeBron James, I've got to believe he is going to come out with a vengeance tonight. All right, first of all, he's missed half the season, more than half the season, with injuries. He finally gets back, and then he misses a game and a half because of a suspension. And if, as Shannon and I believe, LeBron didn't throw that elbow to Isaiah Stewart's face on purpose, then he's got to be ticked off that he was suspended for a game for an accident that can happen at any point. So I think LeBron, knowing as well that the Lakers need a W, you know, the way they've been playing, and look, when you're excited about a comeback victory over Detroit, and then you can't follow up that excitement and that momentum by beating the Knicks, even without LeBron, you still got 2 top 75 players in their prime, then you know you're in trouble. And so it's LeBron to the rescue. I believe he's going to have a big game, and they're going to win. And I'm watching these 3 things, in addition to what LeBron does. I'm watching, you know, last night Westbrook had the big triple-double, was good in the third quarter, 18 points. And Anthony Davis, we keep hearing this, said Russ got to play that way no matter who's there. LeBron, me, he's got to play this way. Well, we kind of disagree, the 3 of us, but I want to see, does Russ go out there and try to do that with LeBron on the floor? How do they mesh together? I'm watching for the defense, which has been pretty atrocious this season, 20th in the league defensive efficiency. I want to see what they do. And I want to see, does Frank Vogel continue to trot out these big lineups with DeAndre Jordan at center and Dwight's getting some minutes, and that means AD is at the 4. I like AD better at the 5 when they go small. And so I want to see those 3 things. But either way, I am expecting the Lakers to come out with a victory tonight.
Well, Chris, I wasn't surprised considering how the Lakers have been playing on the road all year long. But I'm shocked that the line has moved from 1.5 to 4.5. They know something we don't. The line is not moved. The line doesn't normally. Somebody laid a big bet down on somebody to move the line 3 points, Skip.
So do you think somebody is not playing?
Somebody's got to not be playing tonight.
Well, I ask you, with AD under the weather last night, is he going to take tonight off?
It might be, Skip, for the line. Skip, we don't see lines move like this. We just talked about it like 2 segments ago, Chris, and it was 1.5. And now in 20 minutes, it's already moved to 4.5? Nah, something's not right. AD or LeBron is not playing tonight. So that's why I believe the line is moved like this. But let me tell you what Vegas does. Vegas look past big names. Vegas look at performances. Vegas looks at trends. And the trend is on the road, the Lakers haven't been very good. The trend is at home, Indiana Pacers has been very good. And since they came off a big victory against the Chicago, the Bulls on the other night, they feel that Vegas is probably saying, hey, considering what we saw out of them on the road, considering what we've seen from the Lakers all year, Skip, this is not an accident like, okay, they're going through a rough patch. The last week they've been struggling on the road. That's not what's happening with the Lakers. The Lakers have been a bad team and an especially bad road team for the entire season. I ain't getting my hopes up beating San Antonio in overtime. I'm not getting my hopes up coming from 15 down beating Detroit. That doesn't razz, as my grandma used to say, that doesn't razz my berry. So with that being said, all them points and all that, I give you all that. Lakers winning tonight.
Your grandmother said that?
Yeah.
Doesn't razz my bear? She said that?
No, he used to say yeah.
God, I love your grandfather and grandmother. I wish they'd raised me. So, is it possible that people were watching earlier on Undisputed when I took Indiana and they said, I got to get me something down on those Pacers, right? Because I made the case that on Monday night at the house that Michael built in Chicago, they beat the hot Bulls, who were 12-5 before that game. They beat them by 32 points.
Yeah.
And I gave you a chance to rescind the bet, but you took it.
And you know the job the Bulls did on the Lakers.
Well, did they? Yeah. So maybe it was just that. That was the groundswell of just off Monday night. Because I agree with you. I've never seen a spread swing quite this way without somebody dropping out.
Yes.
So I don't know. Maybe AD's not going to play, but I don't even care about that. I'm with Chris. I do expect LeBron to come back with a vengeance. My question was, I thought the Lakers as a team would play with a vengeance last night in the Mecca of basketball, because if that whole team thought that LeBron was wrongly suspended, wouldn't they come out to prove a point? We got his back. We're going to show you. And they came out as deadheaded and lifeless as you will ever see a pro basketball team.
Yeah.
They fell behind by 25 points in the first half. And then, to Chris's point, Russ roared back in the third quarter, but then he went strangely silent in the fourth quarter. And yet we have AD after the game talking about, I need Russ to go full bore all the time. Well, what he's saying is we need him just to shoot, right? Because when he's shooting, when he's taking and making shots that he wants to shoot, he turns it over less. When he gets in trouble turning it over, as he did in the first half with 5 turnovers, because he's thinking pass first, right? And that's when he is a disaster. But all I know is the last time I saw LeBron James playing for the Lakers, just before the incident in question, they were down 12 at Detroit, which at that point was 4-11. And LeBron had scored a grand total of 10 points with a grand total of 1 rebound in that game. So weren't they on their way to losing that game with the king on the floor?
But I tell you what, he'll have 18 points by the half at night. Want to bet that? He'll have at least 18 by the half.
18 by half?
Yes.
God, that's a lot of points. Russ had 18 in the third quarter the other night.
The man has been away from the game. He missed half the game against Detroit, and he's been out another game. And that's just, he had just got back. So his condition is not where it needs to be. So I'm just trying to give you an easy bet.
Okay, what's he going to do in the second half? Run out of gas?
No, we're gonna win. That's what we're going to do.
Really? Well, I already got one case on that.
Yeah.
And the betting public or somebody is saying I'm on the right side of this.
No, you're not on the right.
So I think I'm in good shape already, so I don't need any 18-point bets.
You thought you was in good shape last night, then what happened?
Well, I bet on the wrong team, the sorry Lakers. I bet on Russell Westbrook, who had a shot at the end of the game to at least push with you.
Yeah.
He could have pushed because you gave me 3, and he predictably bricked. So, in the end, I agree that LeBron's going to come out with a vengeance. I will not be surprised if he does have 20 points at half, but I still think they're going to lose to a better basketball team.
No. I mean, look, the Pacers are good, Chris. I'm looking at 5 of their losses have come by 3 points or less. So they've been in every single ball game. They're good. I mean, Sabonis is bad. I mean, he's an all-star, Skip. Miles Turner was in running for Defensive Player of the Year. He's a rim protector, can block shots, can knock down the three. I like Brogdon. He can run an offense in pick-and-roll situation with him and Miles Turner. They got nice pieces. Karis LeVert. They got some nice pieces over there.
They do.
But
and they got Rick Carlisle.
But guess who they don't have? The GOAT.
They don't have the GOAT? What happened when Rick Carlisle faced the GOAT in the finals? Help me out.
Oh, my God.
I don't remember.
That was a decade ago.
Has he been back?
LeBron is grown.
How many times have we been back? How many times have we been back to the finals since 2011? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
So, Chris Broussard, sum this up for us. Just give us a quick answer on this. Do you still see a championship team in the Los Angeles Lakers?
I see a championship contender. Remember, I didn't pick the Lakers to win it. So I do see a contender. I really do. I mean, the West, Denver's falling off. They got some injuries. You got Golden State, Phoenix. Clippers are playing well, but I don't call them a contender. I think the Lakers will get to contender status. But no, I'm not picking them at this point to win the championship, no.
I ain't picking them to be contenders.
Chris, thanks for weighing in. We appreciate it. Always trying to help the conversation here.
No mercy.
Well, Undisputed will be live at our usual time this Thanksgiving Day. We'll be giving predictions on the Cowboys in their annual game, plus previews of all the Thanksgiving action, including Bears-Lions on Fox. That is at our usual time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Join us for a little Turkey Day Undisputed. But I want you guys to look right now because Mac Jones and Bill Belichick have the Patriots back in first place in the AFC East after winning their past 5 games. While it looked like Tom Brady initially won the breakup with his longtime coach after he won the Super Bowl last year, the turnaround in New England with a rookie QB has some fans questioning if Belichick will get the last laugh. So, Shannon, is Belichick now again proving to be more valuable than Mr. Tom Brady?
Skip, I think the thing is that we're not going to really know the full details of this until both guys retire. Because the Coach Belichick goes to and gets to and wins the Super Bowl, we're going to have this conversation again. Tom Brady left a team that needed to be rebuilt and joined a team, and it's like a house, Skip. Sometimes, you buy a house, you have to do some remodeling before you move in. Tom Brady went into a home that was just all he had to do was just move into the home. They already had the furniture there. He just moved in. Coach Belichick had to remodel.
Okay, but that home was 7-9 the previous year.
Skip.
Okay.
But see, Skip.
Nobody wanted it.
It was the quarterback. It was one player. Mike Evans was still good, a Pro Bowl player. Chris Godwin was still good. Devin White, Levante David was still good. And Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett, JPP. Skip, you keep trying to that's what I'm talking about.
Nobody said Tom Brady should go to the Buccaneers.
Skip, they the most talented team in football.
I didn't hear you say he should go there.
Just because nobody said it doesn't mean it's not true. What Coach Belichick is doing with a rookie quarterback and a totally rebuilt team is more impressive than what Tom's doing. So let me ask you a question. If Coach Belichick had that team, would they be worse than 7-3? If Coach Belichick had Tampa Bay, would they be worse than 7-3?
Who's the quarterback?
Mac Jones.
Yeah, they'd be worse than 7.
You out your mind. So really? with all that talent.
Well, I think it's my turn now. Do you realize the Brady hate is at work, flowing all from sea to shining sea right now? Because we're talking about overreaction. I'm looking at what New England has done. They lost their first 4 games at home. First 4 games, they have feasted on the Jets twice. They just beat the Atlanta Falcons, for whom you have 0 respect. And all of a sudden, they're a Super Bowl contender. Baloney.
Hold on, Skip. You just beat the Giants. You beat the Bears.
We're not talking about them. We're talking about Belichick now.
We're talking about Brady. We're talking about Brady and Belichick.
He won the Super Bowl
last year. What do I got to do with right now?
It has everything to do because now it starts for Belichick. Let's see what happens against Tennessee. Now he's got to go to Buffalo. He's got to play Buffalo again. He's got to go to Indy. He's got to finish at Miami, which opened the season by winning at Foxborough. Let's see what happens over the next 6 weeks, shall we?
How about this? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, before Coach Belichick retires, he gets to and wins a Super Bowl.
He won't.
But you don't know that.
Won't. Well, I do know. I'm saying that.
Okay.
I do know.
I'm saying that he does.
Okay. You want to bet on it? Want to bet 10 cases on it right now?
Skip, Coach Belichick's not going anywhere anytime soon. But he gets there and wins the Super Bowl, Skip. We're going to have this discussion.
Okay, well, Tom is about to get there and win a second Super Bowl. Then what are you going to say?
Hold up, Skip. But here's the thing. You don't want to give Coach Belichick any credit, but he built this thing. All the free agency that came, he brought them there. All the drafts, he got them there.
Nobody spent more in free agency than Bill Belichick.
It needed to be rebuilt.
Okay.
He did that.
I'll give you some credit, but for the dynasty, I give you 25% credit, as I always have. The quarterback was 75%. The quarterback kept the locker room at bay from revolting, from mutinying against Bill Belichick. You know it, and I know.
So why are they not mutinying now? He's not there.
Well, I don't know. Well, we still got a lot of season left, don't we?
And guess what? They're going to be right there in the end, just like I told you they would be.
This is like the divorce that will never end.
Nope.
The lawyers are involved, and everyone wants more.
Because Skip don't want to give me my property.
Till the end of time. Till the end of time. No mercy. LeBron James is expected to return from his one-game suspension for the final stop on the Lakers road trip. LA will face the 8-11 Pacers on the second night of a back-to-back before heading back to Staples. So, Shannon, what's LeBron's line tonight?
I'm going to say he plays somewhere between 32 and 35 minutes, Skip. I'm going to say 25, 8, and 4, and they win.
25, 8, and 4.
Yep.
You were going to bet me 18 the first half, so he's going to have a lousy second half.
We're going to be in such a commanding lead.
Commanding lead, you'll be up 25 in the first half, right?
Nah, we're going to be up. We're going to be comfortable. He's going to get some rest.
Okay, I do believe he will return with a vengeance tonight. I'm going to go big in the first half. I'm going to say that's why I wouldn't take that bet. I say he scores 20 by halftime.
20 by halftime.
I say he tails off a little bit to 30 total for the game with 7 rebounds and 7 assists, 37-7. But the Lakers will lose this game at Indiana, 105 to 100.
Nah, you tried to jinx it. That's what
105 to 100.
No, they're not losing, Skip. We already got a case. Get me another case after my case last night. That'll be back-to-back cases. Have we ever had a situation where somebody won back-to-back cases?
No,
First
because
time
I
ever
usually
say.
win 5 at once is what happens.
Back-to-back cases, Skip.
Yeah.
Oh, the confidence over there.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable in this.
Yeah.
Might make it 3 in a row on Thursday.
Yeah.
I might make it 3 in a row on Thursday.
Down 50, so it's
Not
really
anything. Let's see what LeBron does first. Skip Shannon, great stuff. Undisputed will be on Thanksgiving tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Please do join us. The Herd is next with Colin and Joy. Have a great day.